Hi guys, I am Sir Havoc and welcome to my first ever artillery video. So those of you that have watched my YouTube channel have seen a lot of light tank stuff and medium tank stuff, some heavy stuff, and I think maybe one or two videos early on tank destroyers, and I'm trying to get this mix up for you guys now so you can see more of the tanks you play. So whilst there still will be some light tanks videos coming from me, there's going to be a lot more medium, heavy and tank destroyers, and hopefully some more artillery as well. So this is my first artillery video, and this isn't a gameplay by me. As you all know, I am absolutely useless at artillery. There's probably not much I can teach you, maybe one or two obvious things, but I picked this game out. I found it on What Replays. It's an absolutely amazing game. It's a guy that manages to achieve 7,700 odd damage in a tier 6 artillery piece. Now I can tell you now, slight spoiler, this game, if you don't like Arty, is going to make you sick to your stomach. But even though Arty, in my opinion, is a tad OP and it can definitely ruin someone's game, it is a part of the game nonetheless, so we should embrace it. And when I saw this, I couldn't help but laugh my little buttocks off at how this guy did this game. So the guy playing is in an SPG M44, a tier 6 artillery piece. Now what I've done is I've put these up on the screen here, and we're going to have a quick look at the comparison to some of the other popular ones. You'll recognise the SPG FV304, the Burt, the Hummel, the SU8 and the AMX13 S3AM. So let's look at the differences. Well, hit point wise, the SPG M44 sits flat bang in the middle, not as low as the 270 of the SU8 and the AMX, but not as high as the 300 of the Hummel. Now the engine power is 500, which is the highest across the board, but that being said, you know, because of its power to weight ratio, it doesn't have a great acceleration speed, whilst it does have a good top speed of 56.3 kilometers. That's not as fast as the Burt at 72, yet it's a lot faster than the SU8 at 48 or the Hummel at 42. Like most artillery pieces, armor is pretty much not worth a thing really. 12 all the way round. You're not going to protect yourself against anything with that armor. A farmer that has a pitchfork and quite a lot of willpower could probably get through your armor in the end. But yeah, most Arty has terrible armor, but you do get, like the AMX at the front's got 40. You might get some slight bounces off that, you know, depending on what angle they hit you at, depending on what tier they're shooting from. But with 12 all round, it's nothing to speak of really. So we've got view range and signal range. Well, if you're in artillery and you're spotting, you're probably in the wrong location. So the 320, I suppose it is handy if everything else is dead and you need to see something coming, but it's nothing outstanding and certainly nothing that's massively better than the other counterparts. So let's look at the top guns on these artillery pieces, guys. The M44 fires the 155mm howitzer M45. How does this compare to the other tanks guns? Well, there are some slight differences, of course. This tank can fire 2.73 rounds a minute. Whilst that isn't as fast as the Burt at 4.44, is a lot faster than the Hummel's gun and the AMX's gun, and a little bit faster than the SU8's gun. Now, what really counts for these guns is things like the damage, the penetration, the dispersion, and the aiming time. Well, the aiming time on this gun is 6 seconds, and again it's a second faster than the Hummel, the SU8 and the French tank, but nowhere near as fast as the Burt, and the Burt is renowned for having a really fast firing gun. The dispersion is 0.8, so it hasn't got great dispersion, so you're not particularly firing that accurately. However, I will be proved wrong in this game. The main difference with this tank is with the ammo. So you can see that with standard ammo, it's only got 78 penetration for 700 damage. And what that means, it means you're going to be hitting a lot of shots for 100, 200, sometimes 300. But, you know, mainly down at, you know, sometimes 100 or 200. And that kind of sucks. 78 isn't much at all. I know the Burt does have less at 57, however the Burt can reliably and accurately put many shots downrange, and its main role is to disable and detrack and to set on fire and to immobilize tanks. Against the Hummel, which has 85 pen, the SU-8 at 88 and the French tank at 90, the 78 is a bit meagre. I know it only seems like a little bit more, but remember these shells are coming down on top of tanks where they are, the armour is quite often that thin, so that extra little bit of penetration does make a difference. Also, it's worth noting that the damage that the M44's gun does is 700 as opposed to 950 on the Hummel, 910 on the SU-8 and 950 on the French tank. What that means is with standard ammo on them other tanks, you know, they're going to be hitting that more 300, 400 mark a lot more often because they've got more pen and more damage. So what the strategy is for the game we're about to see is the guy loads premium ammunition. Now the premium shells in this tank are 240 penetration, and that's more than enough to get through most things armour, especially when he's in a tier 8 scenario in this tier 6 tank. So let's see how this guy puts premium shells in the M44 to good use and ends up carrying his team. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the battlefield. Hi guys, welcome to the battlefield, and we are watching Eagle Sword from Nosclan. Eagle Sword is in an M44 Tier 6 American artillery piece, and he is in a Tier 8 game, and this is the worst possible matchmaking he can get in this tank. However, there are only 4 enemy Tier 8 tanks for him to deal with, and then another 4 Tier 7, as opposed to 3 Tier 8s on his side and 6 Tier 7s. There are a lot of heavy tanks in this game, so he does need to be careful, and there is only 1 light tank, so he's not got a lot of fast moving tanks that could be looking to break through to him. Okay, so what's going to go down here? Well, as you can see, he's got a challenge ahead of him here. He's going to have to keep on the move because there's 2 enemy artillery pieces. And he's also going to have to be picking his shots well because the enemy does appear to have, you know, more top tier heavy tanks, so they could be dominating in the city area if he's not careful. The game is going to rely on his help, and let's see how he does it. Well, the lead off to any game in an artillery piece, I suppose, is pretty much the same. Find yourself some cover and a position at the back where you can access shots to the most amount of areas as possible. Now, if you're learning to play artillery pieces, things you need to take in consideration are the things in front of you, like lumps and heaps and cover. And you want to be able to hit players easily whilst not being hit yourself. Now, he's lining up this shot, and as you can see, I'll just put it there, he's got his heat shells loaded. He started the game with 30 heat shells and 6 HE. Now, the enemy team start off really well, killing the friendly T25-2 and putting Eagle Sword's team at a disadvantage. We can also see that Eagle Sword has camo net, for obvious reasons, and he fires cola and the fuel. Now presumably this is to give him that extra bit of punch, you know, turning and moving if he needs to, and also with the cola giving the overall bonuses will help aiming time, will help reload time. If he's got things like brothers in arms, it's gonna, and you know, vents fitted, it's gonna really help out. So you can see he's decided to change the side of the map now. Looking at the mini-map, there's quite an even spread on the team, so he's just trying to do his best here. He puts a blind shot in, it hits the ground, doesn't look like it hits the tank. Now he's changed the location over to this side. It's quite funny looking down at the map like this from a bird's eye view. Timed that shot perfectly. doing 733 damage. He sets the OI alight, but by the looks of it, that OI had a premium fire extinguisher, 20k. So we now know that he's used his fire extinguisher and he's burnt up 20k. Puts another beautiful shot in at the Tiger for 704, and you can really see the difference now with the heat rounds punching through this armour, making them shots count for full damage, as opposed to the HE, you know, not punching through and doing about 200 damage, 100 damage.
Critical hit.
Heat obviously not as effective against the spaced armour of the IS-6, but you know, you put it through anyway because that tank's there. And just hitting that IS-6 does the role of making him pull back because he knows the artillery is focused on him. He's let another one fly, and again, not much good against the spaced armour of the IS-6. But you can see now how his shots have made the IS-6 pull right back and relocate. And that's a job well done. So if you are an artillery player that's learning, remember that. Now we know that shot hit. There wasn't a mark on the ground. And wow, that T-34 had a massive chunk of his health just taken off of him. That's more than likely another 700 all damage that you put in. And now smash straight through the front of the IS-6 for over 800 damage with these premium shells. And this is just amazing. And you can imagine, you know, if he wasn't there doing this damage that he's just done, this could have been a whole different picture on this flank here. Taking out the T-34. Now, spinning round there, eyeing up the Tiger P. He's going to have to protect his flank, because if that Tiger P gets through the T-150, which it could easily do, he's next. And you can just see the shell land. It was a blind shot, and the Tiger P goes down. However, it wasn't him that got the kill, so the GW Tiger must have hit the Tiger P at exactly the same time. Eagle Sword has got 3 marks of excellence on this M44, and if any of you are not sick to your back of your throat by now for all this heat being used, you will be by the end of the game. But you know, I kind of admire him, because when I play artillery, I just kind of miss every shot. I spend more time aiming in than I do firing, and I don't make it work for me, if I'm being honest. So the fact that he's hitting these shots shows that he is actually a very good player, and he's making most of the use out of the ammo he's got, because he knows it's going to do the job. He's tucking himself in now to try and make sure he's not going to get spotted. Let's see how he does against the VK3001. I thought he was going to do a blind shot then. Oh, wow. You can see how he's aiming just behind the tank. You know, he puts that pointer just behind, you know, in a line from these firings, and to make sure that shell goes right in at the right angle. He's aiming in now at this Jag Tiger 88. The Jag Tiger, I think, was tracked, and finishes him off. And you know, he's doing a devastating roll. He's now on 3 kills. He's on 4,000 damage that we know about. We know that there's been 2 blind shots go in. And straight into the T-29 846, literally ripping these tanks apart now. And that was literally a whole offensive on that flank he's just defended from. Now, even with the support that Eagle Sword give over on the northwest side of the map, they seem to be a bit worse for wear there. The OIs have only one of them left in the town now. So even with all this damage he's doing, his team is still basically, well, just running even. And without this sort of support, the game, you know, without this help from him, the game would have surely been lost by now. Now he's looking at the SU-152. He puts a blind shot in. We know it's connected because there was no impact crater. I wonder if he's hit. You know, if he's make that count, he's looking at 702. He writes in the bottom there, SU should be hit, I think. The SU replies with gold, okay noob. I think he hit. I think he hit. That sounds like a very a very salty SU driver there. The IS6 follows up with you did, ha ha ha. So this is looking pretty epic, guys. You know, some of you might not be impressed, but you know I am. You know, he's making these shots count and he's ripping this team to pieces. And yeah, he's using premium ammo, but what the hell? If you watch my live stream, guys, you know that I get killed by Arty more than most. You know, people see me from my YouTube, they recognise me from what uni. I get focused all the time by good players, by artillery, even by bad players that see my channel. So, you know, no one's got more right to moan about Arty than me. So, if I don't care, you guys shouldn't really, I suppose. Unlucky on the shot there. Now we can see the SU-152 was full health and now only 67 hit points. So we hit that SU for 803 damage. That SU, no wonder he was salty. Yeah, I think there's more to worry about in this game than artillery at the moment, guys. The matchmaking is absolutely dreadful at the moment. I can't understand what's going on. We can see he got the blind shot on that VK, killing him. But look, there's a KV-5 coming close range. And this KV-5 is a big threat to Eagle Sword. Can do him in one shot with a high roll if he's got the fast firing gun. If he's got the dirt cannon, he can definitely do him in one shot. Let's see what Eagle Sword will do. Now he's got the... Let's see what he can do. He's got the fast firing gun. So there's a bit of a standoff here, and Eagle Sword's got to be careful because there's other artillery on the team that will surely kill him. And now he's got to make this count. He's got to make this count. He's took the shot and killed the KV-85. He rolled the dice there. He knew that there's a good chance he will survive that shot with the gun that the KV-85 had. So he's gone round. He's took the shot. He's then ploughed the shot into the KV-85, killing him in one shot, and he's using that, you know, that fuel to good use now to dodge the enemy artillery shell that come down. But it's a 1 versus 2 situation, and he's alone with the T-150, and he's going in on the SU-152. So now he's using that speed of his tank to try and get into a good situation. He's loaded HE because the SU is on very low health, and he don't want to afford the bounce, and he just wants to go in and get that shot. Can he do it? Ooh, the SU now knows he's there. Balls deep, says the KV-85. Now he's got to be careful because he's got to stay Arty safe. He's a good artillery player, so he knows what Arty can do. Unfortunately, the SU-152 has the last laugh and takes him out with a shot, and the game is now down to the T-150 to see if he can win. But what a wonderful game from Eagle Sword there, bagging himself a Top Gun medal. It says 5,460. I know it is over 7,700, so we will just see the edge of this game, then we'll go to the post-game stats. Let's see how this finishes off. Does the T-150 manages to steal the game for them? The T-150 manages to get the kill on the Tiger. The GW Tiger P, should I say. I do tend to abbreviate names. And this has been a wonderful match. Go cap and try a draw, says the IS6. So I think that's what the T-150 is going to do. We've got Robotron X there saying the SU is coming back for sure. IS-6 lend the support, and I love these games where most people have died, but it's been such an epic game. You know, there's a handful of people that stayed watching. It's really cool. Now, I don't know what the WN8 Eagle Sword finished on is, but at the moment at 5,000 damage, it's 19,000 WN8. I wouldn't surprise me if he finished on something like 30,000. But can this T150 do it? He's got 55 seconds left. Let's speed it up to ×2. Here comes the SU tank there. He fires. The SU misses. The artillery misses. This is really tense. He was keeping moving. I would definitely have be well on the move here. Left, right, don't stop. Artillery hits him for 194. SU is down. Oh my god, surely he's got it. Oh, that Arty. He fixes the tracks. You've got to keep on the move now. You've got to keep on the move. It's the other enemy's M44 now doing the damage and making his team hurt. Can he do it? Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. He leaves the cap. He goes for the kill. He leaves the cap. Let's see what he can do here. Now that, I think basically what happened there, guys, is look, there's only like 4 seconds left. He had to leave the cap because the time's running out. And it ended up as a draw. It ended up as a draw. Let's check out the post-game stats. So here we are with the post-game stats, guys. As you can see, it's up on what replays. It's called Epic Heartbreak. M44 gains 7.7k damage. So, what an impressive front sheet. It's an ace tanker game. It's a bruiser. It's a Gauls medal. Drive an SPG and cause a damage exceeding 10 times the hit points of your vehicle. Wow, 10 times the hit points of his vehicle. Top gun, high caliber. And what an impressive front sheet, apart from one word, the draw. Unlucky, didn't get the win. So let's see how this all went down. So here's Eagle Sword here with 7,771 damage in his tier 6 artillery piece. He has a whopping 2,069 base XP with the 4 medals. Wow. Worth of note on the enemy side was the SU-152 with 2,469 damage, a 721 base XP on a draw, not too bad, and 4 kills, and the guy responsible for killing Eagle Sword himself. Had this been a win, that base XP would have been, you know, really, well, the base XP would have been the same really, but so here's the teams, and you can see the damage as it pans down. The enemy team on average did actually more damage, a lot more damage, but unfortunately for Eagle Sword, his team just couldn't quite be there. He had a Tiger P finish on no damage, an OI finish on just 138, an IS tier 7 tank on 203. Unfortunately the T25-2 didn't do well, nor did the top tier Object 416. On the enemy side, these guys did a good damage. The KV-85 tier 6 heavy, 1,471, T29 with 1,843, and an IS-6 with 2,000. So on average, this team pulled their weight more. This team, Eagle Sword's team, needed him to do a lot more damage, and had he not done that damage, then the game would surely have been a loss. So well done, Eagle Sword. We don't care that you fired all that gold, son. You done awesomely. 7,771 damage is epic. Good job to you, son. Now, guys, don't go away. Please stay tuned for more of my videos, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Please remember to subscribe and like, and leave a lovely comment if you enjoyed this video, and even if you didn't. Goodbye, guys.
I know I buried you long ago.